Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of the Review at Rob Show, the first ever video episode on the Review at Rob YouTube channel. Man, hope you checking that out, and hopefully you subscribe and like. But welcome into the show. Appreciate anybody taking time to watch this show here. And on this episode, I'm giving my review of the film Your Monster as spoiler free as possible, and gonna talk some news. Man, we got all kinds of stuff to go over news wise as well. So again, appreciate you joining in. Without further ado, let's go ahead and show you that poster. There you go for Your Monster. The film is rated R for brief bloody violence, some sexual content, and language. Film runs in at 1 hour 42 minutes and is classified as a romance comedy horror musical film. So a lot of stuff going on there of what this movie can fall under aspect wise. Idea of the film here, Liz Barrera's character is this bright, bubbly woman, Broadway inspired, want to be on Broadway performer, all that stuff, who ends up going through traumatic events with an illness and more traumatic events happening during that illness. And, ends up going back to her childhood home while she's recovering and discovering at that childhood home there is a monster living in the closet, and things go from there. So again, talking around myself, not to spoil anything, it's probably not the best synopsis out there, but a lot of the synopsis I read gave away way too much information. I want to keep it as little spoiler as much. So that's the idea of the film. I remember hearing about this movie and then seeing the trailer. I'm like, this looks fun. Like, this can be an interesting enough movie, and seeing where things can go from that aspect and all that. Watched it. Can't say it was one of those films that was on my high anticipation list because I didn't really know anything about it till I first started hearing the trickling of information and then seeing that trailer. So I went to watch it. Did it as a double feature with another movie that I have not reviewed yet, Venom 3. But went in there just looking to watch a movie, right? Which, interesting enough, is we've had another romance horror monster movie earlier this year with Lisa Frankenstein, which I really enjoyed. So I was hoping for a lot with this. And then, of course, in the trailer, we see Melissa Reyes' character in like a Bride of Frankenstein get up. I'm like, freaking love that. So, I'm into this idea here of what they're going for. The movie itself, I think, as I just named all those four things that it's classified under, hits all of those beats very well. Um, it's very traumatic. Like, the things she's going through, very heart wrenching of what she's going through in this movie, to where you just feel extremely bad for her character, to just hilarious moments. It's just hilarious moments that just fits all in this vibe of this movie, that you get those as well as like a horror aspect, which isn't like extremely over the top horror or anything like that, but really good horror aspect in there that gets you on the thriller side of things, as well as the what's going to happen here kind of wanting to see what the monster could or may end up doing in the movie, um, to adding that thriller mystery aspect of what is this monster, what's going on here, how is this monster here, and all that stuff. So it does a good job with all of those things. Like, I like what they did from that aspect. And they added in a musical aspect because, like I mentioned a moment ago, there is her character, and in the story of this film there is a play, um, and part of her backstory and all that stuff is creating the play. And I'm not going to give spoilers on details of stuff of what happens with all the play and all that stuff, but she's creating a play before she gets the illness. And after she's recovering from the illness, she wants to go back to that play. And of course, there's issues involving that aspect, and then going in there and trying to be part of the show and all that stuff. Again, avoiding spoilers here. So, there's that musical aspect, and the music's fun. I've and really enjoyed this movie, the music in this movie. I've listened to the main song from the film several times since seeing this movie. Same thing I've done with Smile. Which I wouldn't classify Smile necessarily as a musical, but it does have musical aspects in it. This movie's definitely more musical than that, but only during the um, the theater aspects of the film. It's not like musical. It's not classic musical Grease style musical or anything like that. Which, nothing wrong with Grease. Grease is a fantastic movie, and I have no problems with musicals. But we've seen how people reacted with Joker Folia doing it being a musical. This one makes sense of the musical aspect. And it's not a shot at Joker. I like Joker. You've probably heard my review. If not, I reviewed that. Check it out on Throwing Podcast Network's YouTube. But it's one of those things where they blend all of these ingredients of the film together to make it all work in a very strong aspect. Like Melissa Barrera, I think for the majority of us, the first time we were introduced to her was in Scream, and I thought she was really good in both of those Scream movies. And then she was in a horror movie earlier this year called Abigail, um, which was a monster movie, and I remember that being highly inspirational for me, not knowing she had another monster movie coming out this year as well. Completely different aspects of films, but that one being a vampire, this one being a beast, and she was great in that as well. And I like her, and she's going through um, issues with a production company and all that stuff that led her from being part of the Scream franchise going forward, which a lot of people are upset about. But we're going to leave that to where that is. But I've enjoyed what I've seen of her, and I thought this is probably her best performance that I've seen. And again, I enjoyed her in Scream and Abigail a lot, but in this film, she's giving so many different emotions and so many different aspects to a character that again is extremely bubbly and happy and artistic and creative to traumatized and heartbroken and devastated about things that are happening with her, to wondering, to fighting, to looking for possible revenge, to finding herself through the story. And they piece it all out perfectly fine. And they do a great job piecing that all together story wise and weaving in through it all that. And it just blends perfectly throughout the whole watch time of this film. So, and her performance is fantastic in every single aspect. And she does actually sing in the movie. So I give her extra kudos there as well. The Beast in this movie is played by, trying to pull his name up here, Tommy Dewey, who I think this may be the first thing I've seen him in. Um, Looking at his filmography and TV shows real quick, I'm not recognizing anything else here that he's been in. Um, if I would have watched the Mindy Project, I would have seen him there. But oh, he's in Saturday Night. Who's he playing Saturday Night? Because that's a movie that's on the top of my list. Who does he play in Saturday Night? Come on, help me out here. You say he's in Saturday Night. He plays Donahue. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. All right, cool. He was in the Rugrats remake show. Okay, so he's been in a lot of stuff. I'm not next. This is the main thing I've probably ever seen him in. But Saturday Night, it came out earlier this year, and I reviewed that also on Throwing Podcast Network. So go check that out. But he's great. He's fantastic. The Beast is scary and then charismatic. He's scary, scary, whatever. But he's fantastic. That Beast is awesome. The film has, of course, got talks of Beauty and the Beast with it. Of course, Beauty and the Beast story and all that stuff, and the pretty girl meeting the Beast, and will there be or not be a love aspect and all that stuff, a romance aspect and all that stuff. It's an R-rated movie, so it's not very much, Beauty and the Beast there. And of course, you don't have teacups and singing and all that stuff, but you do have singing in the movie. So that's about as much as there's a beast and there's a pretty girl. That's as much as you get with the Beauty and the Beast aspect there. But dude, I can't tell you enough how much I have absolutely adored this movie while watching it. It took me through all the emotions, like I mentioned earlier. It had me laughing my behind off. It had me in tears. It had me in awe of the things they were doing in this movie. So I absolutely loved You're a Monster. If you couldn't tell already, I absolutely love this movie. It is a serious contender for top 10 film for me of the year. And it came out of nowhere. This is something I've talked about before on the show, where we make our anticipation list at the beginning of the year. And then these movies just pop up at the end of the year out of nowhere that you weren't even thinking about, and just takes you away. I mean, I had that with Saturday Night. That movie came out of nowhere for me, and this movie as well came out of nowhere for me. So, man, what a year it's been for horror overall. And even these romance monster movies, again, Lisa Frankenstein, like I mentioned before, now this movie, I think both of them would be an awesome freaking double feature to do. And once I get both those at home viewing purposes, gonna watch both of them. You're a Monster, I looked on the Regal app I have earlier. It doesn't seem to be playing in my theaters, but when I looked it up on Google, it does seem to be in theaters somewhere at the moment. So go see it. Go see that film and be in complete enjoyment. We're out of spooky season now, but you don't need spooky season to watch horror romance movies, musicals, and comedies and all that. Watch them whatever, and highly worth your time. Highly enjoyable film from start to finish. Like they did such a good job with Your Monster that I've again And I can't stop thinking about the movie since I've seen it. And I watched a whole other movie after that, and I'm like, you know, get out of here, man. This movie, seriously, seriously good movie as far as I'm concerned. So that is my quick spoilerish free thoughts. I don't think I spoiled anything. Um, no, didn't. So those are my quick thoughts on Your Monster. Check it out as soon as possible, man. All right, so going from there, let's talk some news on this episode and kicking it off with horror. It seems right. Biggest news in the realm of horror since the last time we talked is that Scary Movie has its main people returning for it. So now back in April at CinemaCon, I believe it was, they announced that there would be another Scary Movie coming. I think a reboot of the Scary Movie franchise, maybe. Um, and my main thing was like, okay, as long as the Wayans brothers are into it, I'm into it. And we officially now have confirmation that the Wayans brothers are back for this film, which is extremely the right move. They are the Scary Movie franchise, as far as I'm concerned. 20 years they created that. They were part of the first two films, writing, directing, and all that stuff. So that's their franchise, man. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care what other movies they release in that franchise, with or without them. They are that franchise. So it's good to see that they are back with doing this Scary Movie, whether it's the fifth or sixth movie, I think sixth maybe, or if it's the start of a new Scary Movie deal. Either way, I'm in, because they bring what you need for that series, and appreciate them and the comedy they created. Like, ever since that news has come out, I've wanted to rewatch those movies, and definitely going to. Like, those are fun time movies, man. So I'm glad that they're coming back with those. Let's see, Jamie Lee Curtis and Halloween. So she gave us a quote because, of course, Halloween just happened. Hope everybody had a fantastic and safe Halloween out there, and she was talking about the history and all that stuff, and she left a quote that is made the rounds here. The last part of it has made the rounds a good bit. I'm going to share that quote with you and then give my thoughts on it afterwards. Miss Curtis said, quote, "I have hung up my bell bottoms in pale blue button-down shirt, and I have relinquished Lori to the ages with a warm aloha and a thanks for all the years and memories. And yet, if I've learned anything in my 65 years on the planet, it's never say never." So she sounds done, but not done, right? She said she's given up the character, she's hung up the character, but at the end she says never say never, which with horror films is the thing. We've seen legacy characters come back in horror films and do things. And the last time we saw Jamie with Halloween was Halloween Ends. And title wise, we thought that would be the end, at least for her. We always knew the character Michael Myers and the Halloween story would go forward, but we always thought if anything ends with Halloween Ends, it would be that part of Halloween, Jamie's part of Halloween. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. She's easily one of my top 5 favorite actresses. I love her. She is the scream queen of all scream queens. And Halloween Ends has been met with a lot of criticism back and forth. I know people who love that movie, and I know people who hate that movie. And I have seen it once. I've seen it one time when it released, and I have not gone back to seeing it, which kind of surprised me. I thought I'd seen it at least once, but I can only remember watching that movie once. I said that backwards. I thought I've seen it at least twice, but I know I believe I've only seen it once. And I had my somewhat issues with it the first time I saw it. I don't have my full on hatred for that movie that a lot of people seem to have with it. I definitely do need a rewatch with it, but I kind of got the idea of what they were doing with it. And, we thought that would be the last time we see Jamie Lee Curtis in the character of Laurie in a Halloween movie. And I would assume it is, even with her saying never say never. Like, I can't imagine her back for anything unless it's like a flashback, or unless they do a continuation story off of those last films with Andy's character. But I can't. I love that I remember her real name, and I can't remember her. It's Allison, right? I love that I remember her real name, but I can't remember her character's name. Halloween Ends. Oh, it's Allison, right? Or am I thinking freaking Hocus Pocus? Yeah, Allison. So I, and you get her as a grandma deal there. I don't know. I don't know what you would do with Jamie Lee Curtis in a Halloween franchise, unless like a video game and she's voicing the character or something like that. I don't know what else she would have to do. Obviously, she brings, a huge history with the franchise, and she's a legend in the world of Hollywood, Oscar-winning legend at that point. So I don't think we would be mad at it, but at the same time, if we're trying to move to a new, what's the story? That's the thing we got to figure out with Halloween and where it goes from here. I believe they're working on a television show. It's one of those things where it's like, are we still telling the Michael Laurie story? Or are we going to go somewhere else with Michael Myers and all that stuff? Like, we know it's going to happen. It's bound to happen again where we get another Halloween movie, or show or both. And if you're starting new and doing a new story, there's going to be a new Laurie. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but are you going to just do a brand new freaking deal? Like, that's the question with Halloween, is what do you end up doing with that franchise? Do we just start with new characters and Michael and Haddonfield still, or what do we do? That's the thing we have to wait on. With her saying never say never, I think that's to cover herself if she does, in fact, decide to return at some point in time. She's not in a position now where she was, say, Halloween Resurrection, where she came back and did that movie, and she's been open about how much she didn't like that movie. She's not in that position anymore. She's, again, bona fide legend who can do whatever role she wants at this point and not need to do a movie for extra money or anything like that. So I don't know. I think, again, I think the only way we see her come back is like video game, or or I don't even want to say flashback, because what you would, to do a flashback, you would have to continue on the story they were already working on, and I don't think that's the idea where you're going with the next Halloween deal. I think the idea is to start over, and if we're starting over, then you're doing Michael and Laurie again, and you wouldn't do a flashback to her. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it would have to be a continuation with Allison's character, or a video game. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I think she's done, for sure. I think she's done, and she just said that to cover herself in case something pulls her back into it. But I doubt it. I highly doubt it. So that's what we got. Last bit of horror news to touch on is kind of an update on Chucky. The last thing we heard about Chucky was that the show stupidly was canceled by Sci-Fi. Obviously, big Chucky fan. Um, you got that behind me. You can see Chucky's face down there. If I turn this way, you got two Chucky popcorns from Halloween Horror Nights and a bunch of Chucky cups over there, and then in front of me, just a cavalcade of Funko Pops of Chucky and the movie collection back there and all that stuff. Huge Chucky fan. That's my horror icon, and that show should have never been canceled. And I don't know what the thought process was. Reports come out that Sci-Fi is looking to do more reality-based shows, which screw that, disgusting, horrible decision. But it is what it is. It happened, right? So since then, Don Mancini, who's been behind the creation of Chucky since the beginning, gave us the quote of, "The Chucky franchise has always prioritized story continuity across different media for decades. You will see your favorites again," which is true. A lot of people who aren't even huge Chucky fans have always given credit to the Chucky franchise for its ability to stay in its storyline and continue what they've been working on throughout that whole film series to TV series and beyond. So there's already been reports of a movie in the works and all this stuff, and you'll see your favorite characters again. I am assuming he's talking about the characters that we've come to know from the series, and we've left on a massive cliffhanger in the Chucky series, which is again is the annoyance of that show being canceled. But I trust the process there. That again, they know what they're doing to keep that thing going. As long as Don Mancini's behind it, we're in the right realm of possibilities of things of continuing that story and getting to the right spot. So we just have to wait, and obviously I'll update you on this show because I'm a huge Chucky fan. And Chucky's a huge deal in horror. I don't care what anybody says. Chucky is easily one of the biggest horror icons of all time. So obviously you're going to talk about Chucky because it's big news. So we'll keep you updated on the show with anything that comes out there. But good to know the continuation is in the works here. Let's see. Nothing DC to really talk about this week. They're still grinding away on the shows they're working on and all that stuff, and the movies and Supermaning and all that stuff. So Creature Commando is close to being done, but hasn't officially wrapped. So they're getting to where they need to get to with those things. Do have a Wizarding World update for all of you. So Wizarding World, we know the Harry Potter show is in the works. They're working on casting and all that stuff and putting it together. We know that those shows are going to be very much focused on the books and doing a deeper dive into the books. And each season is going to be about the books and all that stuff, which is cool. Enjoy that. Love that a lot. But that's always left the question of what's going on with Fantastic Beasts. Like, what is happening over there? Is there going to be another Fantastic Beasts film? Is Fantastic Beasts done? Is it not going to happen? What's the deal? We've got a bit of an update here on that aspect, and it comes from Jude Law, who of course is a star of the Fantastic Beasts films as Dumbledore. He said, quote, "I know it's currently on hold. My guess would be that now that they're doing the Harry Potter TV show, they'll probably put their energy into that. I certainly haven't heard that there's anything on the horizon," end quote. So Jude Law, again, plays Dumbledore in that series. If he hasn't heard anything about it, pretty safe to say nothing's really happening over there. And like he mentioned, the Harry Potter show would be the priority of things going on over there at the moment. Now, there's news to talk about later with an actor who was in the Fantastic Beasts franchise that maybe we can get some positivity getting them back to the Fantastic Beasts franchise. I don't know. At this point, when did the last movie come out? 2018? 2020? When was the last time? Fantastic Beasts. When was the last Fantastic Beast movie? Fantastic Beast. Secrets of Dumbledore, right? Yeah, Secrets of Dumbledore was the last one. That was 2020. It's only been 2 years. So if it's only been 2 years, I don't think maybe we're rushing the out too much trying to get information. But yes, obviously, the TV series is going to be the main deal. Like we're not gonna be too focused on 2 years. Like it seems longer. Like it honestly seems much longer. But looking at that, 2 years doesn't seem that long of a time frame. So yeah, they're probably just figuring things out over there. And of course, almost a Universal because weren't Wizarding World is a big thing in Universal, but Warner Brothers has gone through some changes over there, and they're refocusing and rebuilding and all that stuff, and making very stupid decisions in the process of doing that. But yeah, nothing. So yeah, it's on hold at the moment. It seems. We'll just have to wait. It hasn't been officially canceled. They would say it's been officially canceled if it's been canceled. So we're just in the waiting process there. Now, going from there, last bit of news to touch on. You know what? Let's just go in with this first. So I kind of mentioned it or teased it a little bit there with news. Johnny Depp was in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, and Johnny Depp has gone through legal issues since that film, since 2018's Fantastic Beasts movie, The Crimes of Grindelwald, who he, of course, played Grindelwald. Since then, Hollywood has not really cast him anything. He's been in certain movies, but under the radar for the most part. And all that. And now news has come out that he and Penelope Cruz are teaming up again. They've teamed up several times for movies, most notably probably Blow, but they were also in Pirates of the Caribbean. They were in one of those films together as well. And a couple other movies too. And they're teaming up again for a new movie. It's called, pull this back up. It's called Day Drinker. This will be a Lionsgate film. Now, they are working on that, so they're going to be preparing on that. They're going to be shooting that movie, and like I mentioned, this is the last big studio film, or this is the first big studio film since that Fantastic Beasts film for Johnny Depp. So it's the process of Hollywood's kind of coming back to wanting to work with Johnny Depp after everything's been settled over there legal wise and all that stuff. It's been a couple while from that whole deal. So now this is like the first step of getting things done to where he could be back on the big screen. Now there's a big studio with somebody trusting it. So if this movie comes out, this is kind of what I was getting to with Fantastic Beasts earlier. If this ends up working out and it's successful, and people are ready to bring Johnny Depp back into the fold of things, which he shouldn't have been taken out in the first place, but that's neither here nor there. Um, they're ready to bring him back into the fold of things, and this movie's successful. Maybe that opens the door where we're like, okay, let's bring him back as Grindelwald. Because a lot of people didn't like that Fantastic Beasts movie because he was removed from being Grindelwald. They cast Mads Mikkelsen, who by all means did a good job, and he's a fantastic actor, but people wanted Johnny Depp, right? Johnny Depp's a beloved actor. And if that works, maybe he comes back to the Pirates of the Caribbean, which is flip flopping about what they want to do. So a lot of things can happen here, but that is big for Johnny Depp, at least in Johnny Depp fans, that he's finally got a studio that's a big name. Lionsgate's a pretty big name that is going to take the chance with him, and he's teaming with Penelope Cruz again. So if you're a Johnny Depp fan, make sure you go out and see that movie and support that movie, because that could be the stepping stone to getting him back to roles you probably want to see him in, and getting him back at that top level of actor that he was for the longest time, and huge fan favorite actor. So there you go. All right, and then last bit of news to touch on, fun news, for me at least, and for some other people. We go from one big American, well-known actor to another big American actor, probably the biggest, in Tom Cruise, and rumors flying around that they are looking at doing another Days of Thunder film. So early negotiations with Paramount and Tom Cruise have started to happen about the sequel to the NASCAR 1990 film Days of Thunder, which I enjoy. Like, I make no bones about it. I remember watching that movie several times when I was younger. As I've gone through the years, I've watched that movie several times as well. I like that movie. So I have a good time with that movie. And if they want to do a sequel to it, more power to them. 1990, a lot has changed in the sport of NASCAR since then. So how they decided to do that, and new changes and all that stuff, now it'll all work out. I don't care. I'm here for it. I'm gonna watch it. Now, of course, with Paramount, he's doing Mission Impossible stuff and another Top Gun sequel. So those two are priority over Days of Thunder for sure. But I'm here for it. Like, if they want to do another freaking Days of Thunder movie, cool, make it happen. I will gladly be there to watch it. You know what? Just cast all the people you had in freaking Top Gun and bring them over here. Glenn Powell is the bad guy NASCAR driver. Why not? Why? Who says no? Like, who says no? Like, make it happen. I feel like that'd be fun. Like, that's one of those things where you're doing a movie that would just be fun. Like, that's just, come on, let's have a good time movie. So Days of Thunder 2, bring it on. Like, bring it on, man. My God, the nostalgia that movie would give me. Holy crap. Ah, I hope it happens. All right, but that's gonna do it for the news this week, man. Appreciate you all joining in. Gave you a review of Your Monster. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Gave you some horror news, man. Let's see where things go out. But scary movie, you happy for that coming back? Jamie Lee Curtis, do you want to see her return for Halloween? How do you think she'll return? Chucky, of course, coming back. And Top Gun news, Days of Thunder news. Johnny Depp making a big return to acting, and then Fantastic Beasts. Were you a fan of the Fantastic Beasts franchise? Are you excited about it? Next time you're going to see anything Fantastic Beasts related, most likely is going to be, not even most likely, for pretty much sure, and the next time you see Fantastic Beasts related will be the Land and Epic Universe shares story with the Fantastic Beasts franchise, as well as the Harry Potter franchise. But that's opening next year. And that's going to do it for this episode. So appreciate you as always joining in, man. Hope you had a wonderful time with the show. Hope you had a good time. Love doing the show. Again, new to the Review at Rob YouTube channel. So please hit that like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let's help this show grow, man. We appreciate that a lot. And just, again, remember to treat yourself kindly. This world can be mean. There's a thing happening in the States. The election's going on, which got some people very nervous. I don't talk politics myself, but people out there getting nervous about things and all that stuff. Just trust in yourself, trust the process, and believe in yourself. And just remember to take the time to treat yourself kind. You've got yourself. You got to believe in yourself and build yourself up and chase the things and the dreams that you're looking to chase after. And just remember to breathe. take it easy when you can. I know it's tough. It's a hard time, but just throw on some headphones, listen to some music, escape into a video game or a movie, and just try to find some peace and relaxation. And just, again, trust yourself. Chase your dreams. Be real, as long as it's legal, and be kind. But that's going to do it for this episode. So, as always, appreciate you taking the time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.